for Halloween 2025, we had decided early on that we were going to be pirates. But of course, if you have a pirate, then you need a pirate ship. So we went about building a ship. My first idea there was to make the ship of pretty big proportions. I was going to take 3 pieces of plywood, one for the bottom of the hull, one for the stern, and one for the bow. And this bow and the stern were both going to be about 6 feet high originally and 4 feet wide, and then 8 feet along the bottom for the actual body of the ship. But once you put a piece of plywood out there, actually fiberboard, we realized that was way too big of a proportion. So we went with 4x8, just a standard piece of plywood, cut it to shape. But before I even did that, as well, I built the, as you can see here, built the 2 mastheads, fore and aft. And the one that was going to be the one in the front wasn't going to be as high, which is natural for a pirate ship. It wouldn't be as tall. And it was going to be approximately, well, it was 10 feet high, and then it was 12 feet for the second one. So we took some 1x1x8s, 1 inch square by 8, and I screwed them together. It was pretty simple. I just used wood screws and put 3 along wherever they joined. Kind of measured that out, figured that out as I was going along, and that wasn't the big problem. Then beyond that, I decided I was going to, had to put the cross beams, and the cross beams were pretty easy. I just screwed it into place, and I zip tied it to secure it. Then I finished it off with a square lashing to get it completely secure. And by the time I was finished, it was a great pioneering project with all the cheats in place, and it was sturdy enough to hold up to about 5 nights of wind throughout the month that it stayed out in our front yard. Additionally, we had then tied it up. I used some simple, taut line hitches, and the rigging was 1 line on front with 2 end points, and then 1 line on back of each mast. And then down below, we used some 1x4 by about 4 feet tall planks of wood, and I secured those at the bottom, and then used those, steadied those with some rebar. And it was a pretty easy process. Like I said, I had it in my head all along, and the real problem was that I, kind of changed the height and length of the ship on the fly. So I definitely changed my original ideas, which was good, because had I not, I think I would have had a monstrosity in my front yard. So here you definitely see me rigging up the guy lines. It was easy. Like I said, I just did taut line hitches and then finished that up. Once I finished those up, I then had to have a crow's nest, and we were going to put a guy in there, but we couldn't get him to stay in the right place. Once we got the crow's nest up, so we actually scrapped that whole idea, and we then went on to the building of the ship itself. Here I'm just fashioning a compass, a simple, so I can draw quarter rounds with a Sharpie, and the, like I said, with the piece of wood, a leftover piece of 1x1. And actually, it was ½ inch by 1 inch. Some simple slab board. You see me there scrying it out, and that was pretty easy. Then my wife showed her how to use the jigsaw. She loved it and went crazy doing all the cuts. I think I did 1 cut only, and she did everything else. Didn't wear out the jigsaw, which I was surprised we didn't completely melt, because we went pretty fast. We didn't melt any of the blades. So, like I said, there's us doing the top. And after we did that, we finished up by by painting the hull. The hull was all spray cans, as you can see. Used 3, I think I actually used 4 spray cans of a medium brown on the body of the ship. Like I said, it was fiberboard, so it didn't show up too great, but it was good enough. It did the job, and people really loved it once we got it finished. I was going to also finish it up with some, going to use some electrical tape and put slats in there, the simulation of slats, but I kind of had been tired of it. This was a 3-day process. This actually took about 15 hours in total to build from front to back, including our trips to and from Lowe's. There I am rigging up my mastheads. I put them both at an angle because it showed better, and plus I had some huge flags. I bought the 3x5 flags, which if your mast is only 10 feet tall, a 3-foot flag is pretty huge. And so I put those both at an angle. Both the one you see there, it's the red one on the left, is actually a Tagalog flag. My wife is Filipino, so I gave a little homage to that, and the pirates during the time of Ferdinand Magellan. So we did a little bit of that, a little tribute to Lapu-Lapu, and then so there is the and then we're going to finish up just showing you a little clip of it in action. And some of the kids wanted to get pictures right in front of it. It was a great Halloween. Although it was cold, it was like 44 degrees and a little rainy. And we ended up having 211 visitors. Now that's honestly low for what we usually get. We usually get about 260 to 280, but it was so cold and a little rainy that I think it really kept people out. It was rainy the first half of the 6 to 8, so it went really well. And there is, after all, the HMS or whatever, the USS Halloweeny 667. We had a great time, but we probably won't do another project that big anytime soon. Thanks for viewing, and thanks for watching. Please, if you like our content, like it. Feel free to subscribe, because we will send usual clips out as much as possible, even during what you would consider the off season, because I believe every day could be celebrated as Halloween. And we will see you soon. Thanks.